Welcome back. So today we're going to have a look at simple array algorithms, and we're going to write up a small program with arrays as well. So, simple program that is a which is good. This one is going to use a simple algorithm on arrays. It will prompt the user to enter 10 numbers and then output the maximum and the minimum element of the array. So the one with the one with the highest value and the one with the lowest value. So theoretical solution to this. How to find an element in an array with the highest value? Well, we need to pick some element from an array and assume that is the biggest. So let's call it max. And then we can compare all the elements of the array with that one. If there is an element bigger than max, then that element is assigned to the variable max. And so on and so forth until we've actually iterated through all the elements of an array. Some analogy is for finding the smallest element. If there is pretty much the same analogy applies, my apologies for my lapsus there. The same analogy applies for finding the smallest element. If there is an element in the array that would be smaller than min, then that element will be assigned to the variable min or minimum. Anyway, let's go. There are multiple ways of solving this. There are really a lot of ways of solving this. You can pick whichever one you want, but I'm gonna go ahead and solve it in this fashion. So, const int NOE, so number of elements. This shall be equal to, I don't know, let's say 10, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Now, let's go ahead and give the ability to the user to input 10 elements. Fairly simple. So int I equals 0, and I shall be less than NOE, and then it's going to be plus plus I. So we will need these here, std, : enter I plus 1, so dot number : Okay, sorry for a bit of a pause, but just needed to type this code in. So again, std c, and we are providing a way for the user to actually input something to provide the initialization for the elements of the array. Okay, so now that we are basically, sorry, forgot the most important part here. Then, so remember how in the previous tutorial I've told you how you cannot use this in this format to actually initialize it without the usage of const. Well, if you have const, then yes, but if you don't have const, then no. It doesn't matter. I've just placed 10 here. I could have placed NOE as well. It would have worked. Here, let me just show you. Yep, there you go. So, I don't know, enter number 1. 1, 2. Come on. And there you go. So 10 numbers have been entered, and that is the end of it. If you're wondering why it's plus 1, so that the indexing that is displayed on the screen would function with an offset of 1. So instead of saying enter 0 number, enter first number. And in that fashion, it looks a little bit prettier on the screen, that is. Okay, so let's move on downwards, and let's go ahead and find the largest value here, so the one that we shall label as max, as in maximum. Well, we will first need to define a variable max, and we shall immediately initialize it to the first element of the array, so ARR0, first element. Sorry, just ARR, yeah. And the first element is 0. Okay. So we have assumed that this is the biggest one. Now we shall compare the rest of the array, the rest of the elements of the array to this one, and if one of them is bigger than this one, it shall substitute it, and the comparison shall continue onwards. So I equals 1, so we don't need to take the first element into consideration, obviously, since we are already using it. And OE and plus I. Okay, so the next up we're gonna need is a condition. So this condition will evaluate whether something is greater than the value of variable max or not, if one of these elements is greater or not. So that if statement will go like this: ARR I greater than max. I mean, these are textbook examples. You'll find a lot of these on the net as well. They're pretty much used in a lot of places. So max shall then be assigned the value of ARR. I sound like a pirate when saying this. Okay, so there we go. So this is how you would find a maximum number, the largest value. And then you can just print it out or do whatever you want with it. So it loops through the entirety of the array, beginning from the index 1, so beginning from the second element, because we're already using the first element as a comparison. And it's checking, is each element greater than the current one, than the first one? If it is, please substitute this value with this value of the bigger element. Place it in the variable max, and yeah, go ahead and continue with the iterations. Go ahead and continue with the iterations until you reach the end of the array. And whichever value remains within the variable max, that will be the biggest number. If you didn't quite understand the logic of this, feel free to utilize the Q&A section and have a look at this piece of code here especially. Just look at it for a while. And if you don't figure it out, well, ask then. Somebody will be there shortly to help you along any way we can. So let's go ahead and type in, let's go ahead and try to find the smallest number. So min equals ARR. And again, we will use pretty much the same logic, the same concept. We're not going to have anything different here, really. Even the loop will be the same. I'm actually spacing this for your convenience so you can see it a little bit better, but I generally wouldn't create so many spaces. Okay. Yep. Actually, not even a need for this. Can we recycle some of the code? Sure, why not? We will actually copy this and paste it here. So here, instead of max, we shall write min, and we will also reverse this if it's lesser than. That's basically min. That's basically it. The same logic is being used, and now we can go ahead and print it out. So std cout, I don't know, hold on, min is equal to min and max is equal to max. So there we go. And we're gonna do endl because it's the last line of code and we would like to flush the buffer. Okay, so return 0 is there. Let's go ahead and run. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's go ahead and build and run this. Okay, enter this number. So we're just gonna enter number from 1 to 10. Obviously 10 should be the biggest and 1 should be the smallest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so minimum, you see, min is equal to 1 and max is equal to 10. The logic does work. The logic is sound. So you can try it out with various number combinations. I mean, feel free to try it out on end, really. So there are plenty of other solutions to this. You can spin it around pretty much any way you like. But hey, I'm offering you this one. Actually, I created a few more in my notes, but never mind. Some of them are using referent values and the for each loop, which we're not going to do just yet. But bid you farewell, and there'll be just one more very short tutorial in regard to arrays here, which will be the last one in the series, and then we shall move on into the new chapter. Bid you farewell, and I wish you a ton load of luck with this.